Hi, my name is Anand Agrawal. I hope you are enjoying Apogee at Bits after 2 years of gap. Today, myself and Rajiv will walk you through the opportunity what we have inside Cisco and how the career progression can happen for the early in career uh, people. So, I have also studied in BITS Pilani from 1992 to 1996 and I have close to 25 years of experience. Out of that, I have spent 22 years inside Cisco and I have worked on various products which has been $1 billion product. I have been a part of a journey where I have changed the, the landscape of the Indian telecom industry. You might have all seen the Reliance industry deploying a router which I personally have designed and architected, and they have changed the marketplace in the telecom space. Not only that, I have been a part of a product where I could change the TDM to IP migration, which was a $50 billion market opportunity. And currently, I am working on a product which requires the hybrid packet forwarding, and I am sure that it is also going to go and make a lot of things very different in the data path. Now, what do I do on an everyday basis? Now, and that's not what I'm doing it right now. I have been doing it for the last 20 years. Sometimes I'm working with the marketing folks to define the product, what we need for the next 2 to 3 years time frame, or probably 5 to 6 years time frame. I work with technical marketing engineers to understand that how they are going to go and deploy certain products in the customer deployments. I work with engineers, I work with FPGA designers, I work with ASIC engineers on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes I'm working with engineers at the ground level to simulate the complex problems which customer is facing it. So all in all, if you look at it, there are different roles that I play on a day-to-day basis, and I will definitely walk you through what are the opportunity what we have inside Cisco. Let me hand it over to Rajiv, who will give his introduction, and then we'll probably talk about all the opportunities what we have.
Thank you, Anand. Hi, friends. I hope you are enjoying Apogee 2022. Friends, let me introduce myself. I'm Rajiv Daulat, Director Software Development. I joined Cisco as a junior engineer, just like Anand. I was working on some of the network drivers in a telecom product. You know, network drivers, you can associate it as layer 1 of OSI. I got opportunity in Cisco to work in every layer of OSI. I got exposure to work on multiple technologies, multiple domains. Today, I lead a team of software engineers who build application software that runs most of the contact center in the world. You know, Cisco is number 1 or number 2 in any of the domains that it operates. And you get an opportunity to work with the best products, with the cutting edge technology, and the best minds in the industry.
Let me give you a perspective on the various different products what we build inside Cisco in various different engineering departments. If you look at it, Cisco started as a routing company, and since then a lot of things have changed in the networking space. It has grown leaps and bounds, and a lot of different category of the products has been designed and developed to cater to the needs of the growing demand. Now, if you look at it, what's the purpose of the networking? The networking effectively goes and connects you and me to the applications. Now, the person like me or you can be sitting anywhere in the houses, you can be mobile, you can be sitting inside the enterprise, in the campus. Now, how do you go and connect to the applications which may be sitting inside your campus itself, or it may be sitting somewhere in the cloud, maybe public or private, right? So let's see how the residential user, when they are trying to connect to the applications, how they transition from one network to another network. If you look at the residential user also are having the Wi-Fi networks, and their perimeter is always guarded with routers, which are going to go and provide a lot of security functions as well. So if you look at it, you are going and transitioning from the Wi-Fi network to the perimeter router on your houses, which will go and make sure that all your security functions are taken care of. You are not probably hacked from the external network, and then you are transitioning to the broadband network in the service provider domain, and ultimately from the service provider network you will transition to the public or private cloud networks, and ultimately to the servers which is hosting your applications. If you are sitting in the enterprise network, you may be connected to the Wi-Fi, or you may be connected to the campus wired network. And if your application is hosting inside the enterprise network altogether, then you may be just transitioning yourself from the Wi-Fi network to the wired network to the application server inside the enterprise perimeter itself. But if your application is being hosted somewhere outside in the public or private cloud, you would be going through from the wired network to the wireless network to the wired network to the enterprise router, which is actually going to ensure that your security functions are taken care of, and then you transition to the service provider network, and from service provider network you transition to the data centers where your servers are being hosted with the applications. Now if you look at it, you are transitioning through the various different networks, and all these networks have a different role to play. They have different software, different networking control software which is running. Their capacity requirements are way too different, right? If you look at the house router, which is going to require a very small capacity. If you look at the enterprise routers, you would require small branches, you will require high capacity branches. If you look at the service provider network, is designed in a hierarchy. You will go and aggregate the devices from the very different small places into the larger devices, which would be able to carry along the traffic of the thousands of devices, and ultimately distributing the traffic to the various different places. So you will see the hierarchy of aggregations and de-aggregations inside the various different networks, and you would need to make sure that the products what you are designing are catering to all these needs, meets all the price performance, and takes care of all the requirements from the different network perspective. So that's why if you look at it, we have various different departments taking care of developing all these products. But if you look at it, there's a lot of synergies that we derive between each and every department. The design guidelines what we follow, the tools and technologies what we use inside all this network devices are probably common, and you can actually go and share your software design, hardware design, the ASIC design, the FPGA design, in order to make sure that there is a significant amount of leverage which is available. These many devices which are present in the various different networks, how do you go and manage them? Right? It's physically impossible for somebody to come and go and inspect each and every devices, or bring the devices and change the software what they are running it. You definitely need a mechanism to go and manage them from some centralized location. We do have the controller-led architecture where you would be able to go and manage and onboard all these devices and be able to go and manage them. There is thousands and thousands of events which are being generated from all these devices, which comes to this controller, and this controller would be able to go and manage them. It would be able to go and take the intelligent decisions. It will also be able to go and figure it out whether your application quality of experience is appropriate, And if not, it would be able to go and collect all this data. Based on the data what it is collected, it would be able to go and apply the AI ML models to decide how it can go and route the devices to the appropriate link, so that your application quality of experience can be taken care of. Not only that, there are a lot of AI ML tools which we are developing as a part of this on the controller-led architecture, which would be able to go and change the networking over a period of time. And we are definitely looking for folks in all these areas which would require for us to go and develop the complete architecture. Not only that, we are also heavily into the application software. WebEx is one of that software. We developed the contact center software as well, which goes and manages the video conferencing between the users. Now, you can look at it that the number of users who are going and doing the conferencing are huge. They run into millions on each and every second basis. You can have one video conferencing itself which can actually go and host thousands and thousands of users, lakhs of users, and they are all sitting in the various different geography. How do you go and host your applications which is going to go and have the conferencing done across various different geography? How do you ensure that? This requires a complex software running at various different locations in order for you to be able to go and achieve that kind of things, right? Effectively, if you look at it, whether it's a application software development, it's a controller development, whether it's a hardware software development, there are a lot of tools and technologies which we use, which are going to be common. And once you go and become master of technology and tools in one area, you can definitely go and work in any of the areas without any problems. I will hand it over to Rajiv, who would be able to go and list down the tools and technologies what are required within our company or in the engineering group for you to be able to go and develop these awesome products.
You must be always thinking, what are the skills that Cisco will be looking from aspirants like you who would like to join Cisco as an intern or as a full-time employee? Let me take some time to explain. As an engineer, you and me are trained to solve problems, the real world problems. If you're passionate about solving problems, any kind of problems, you are made for an engineering role. Right? As an engineer, you will be part of developing some of the products, world-class products and cutting-edge technologies. The skill that you can bring onto the table is the programming skills. What do we look in programming? Your ability to write clear code, ability to write an efficient code, ability to use design constructs to make your code efficient. In all, we are looking for a person who has excellent coding skills. Besides coding skills, we are also looking for your understanding on data structures. In the products and the technologies that we develop, we use a lot of data structures. We use simple data structures like arrays and very complex data structures like price. If you have knowledge on these data structures, you will be a good fit. Besides data structures, we also look for your expertise in operating system. You will be able to write efficient code when you know what are the capabilities the operating system is providing to you, right? As a software engineer, your coding skills, your data structure skills, and your operating system skills is important. We do not really look for networking skills or language skills, right? If you are an hardware engineer, we look for your capabilities on VLSI because As a hardware engineer, you will be part of silicon designing, and VLSI is a critical knowledge that can help you. Many people, when I interact, they talk about the language. Language is just a mechanism to implement an idea. When I joined the industry, C and C++ were the only two languages. Today, you have so many languages. And I'm sure you can learn languages, but learning the way of translating an idea into code is what we look for. Also, I've heard people talking about technologies, right? Uh, Technologies like IoT, AI, ML. Technology is always transitioning. Few days back, it was security, it was wireless. Today, you find AI, ML, IoTs. I would encourage you to be open to learn any technology that is put across to you. Do not go beyond one particular technology. In this digital ecosystem, all these technologies have to coexist and co-work to deliver a purpose. If that has to happen, you will have to be exposed to more than one technology. So I would always encourage you to focus on the domain and not the technology. I hope this gives you an idea of what are the skill sets that we look for from aspirants.
Let me talk about the career transition. Whenever we have a discussion with students from the colleges, they are always worried about their career and their transitioning from one group to another group, whether they would be able to go and do it very easily or not. What if I get into a group which is not of my understanding or of my liking? Can I go and transition to another one? So my thought process here is that anything that you start with, don't think that it is bad. Everything is connected. Whatever you learn from the tools and technology point of view, this is going to be used in your career at some point of time in different groups, or at any different point of time you will find that it is useful to you. Now, as you know, that change is constant, so career is also something which has to go through various different changes over a period of time. And if you go and talk to any thinkers are always saying that your career is not fixed, and you might have to go through 3 or 4 different career transitions in your life cycles altogether. So let me give you a understanding that how the career transition is possible inside Cisco. Now, as I have told you earlier, that there are a lot of engineering departments, and there is a lot of synergies that we derive when we are working across various different engineering departments. Whether it's a embedded software, whether it's a networking protocol software that we have to share it, whether we are going and working on the ASICs or the FPGA or the hardware design, there are a lot of tools and technology which are being used across all these engineering groups, and you can definitely go and make a change from one engineering department to another engineering department. Not only that, the tools and technologies are constantly evolving, but they are also something which is built on top of the existing tools and technology. The CX or the engineering, if you look at it, they must be going and using the similar kind of tools and technology. So it becomes very easy for you to transition from one group to the another group. Now I'll give you some examples that somebody in our company joined very early in career in the CX department, and ultimately he has developed such a good understanding of the various different products, and he was able to transition to the engineering, and from engineering he actually went on to become the VP and the SVP of the company in that particular department. Not only that, there are a lot of people who like to go and do the testing, and they develop so much of a good understanding of the various different features and functions in the network, when they think that they can actually go and have a role which is customer facing, and they can apply all this knowledge for the various different deployments. So we have seen engineers transitioning to the technical marketing engineering role, the sales engineer role, the pre-sales engineer role, and sometimes the they transition to the product manager role also because they have a good understanding of that, right? So all in all, if you look at it, there are a lot of opportunities which are available inside Cisco, and you should not feel yourself very constrained, and you should not think about that I have made a mistake by joining this group or that group. So just come in, enjoy the work what you have, and start learning tools and technology. You will be just fine. Don't worry about it.
As an industry veteran, I have few personal advices. Hope it helps you in your career. These are simple 10 points. I'm sure you would have heard it, but let me repeat it. First one, do not make somebody else decide your career path. You should take in charge of your career. You decide your career based on the passion and the capability. You can certainly seek inputs from your seniors and friends. Your career is going to be long haul, say 25 to 30 years. Do not limit yourself to one technology. Always have an open mind to learn more than one technology. Third, what do you have to make a choice? Make a choice on the domain that you are interested in. It could be networking, it could be application, it could be financial, it could be HR, it could be anything. But make a choice of the domain. Fourth one, have a personal touch with your peers and leverage that connection to find a connect between anything and everything. Important one, the fifth one, respect other point of view. Listen to everybody, but do what you think is right. Sixth one, very important. Have a role model in your life. Have a goal in your life. You need a purpose so you can plan your career. I'm sure you will hit challenges. Do not give up. Seek for help. And when someone reaches out for help, do extend you a bit. Keep an inventory of work that you do. Keep your management updated regularly. It is important for you to keep this inventory so you identify the gaps in you and fill them up appropriately. Excellent communication, both written and verbal. You may be technically capable until and unless you are in a position to communicate your ideas. It doesn't help in your career. Finally, it's very important to give back to the society. So do look for opportunities and be participative in any opportunity that you get to give back to the society. I'm sure if you follow these, you will be able to build a successful career.
All the best, everybody, for your exams, for your career. Enjoy whatever you do. Thank you.
Cisco, the bridge to possible.